Hi everybody, welcome to the Braid and Tinker podcast. This is Melanie, and today I am not recording a regular podcast episode, only because I recorded one last week and I knit fast. I just don't knit that fast, so I don't really have much stuff to show you guys. But I did want to record a video, and so I thought let's discuss the differences between sort of knitting patterns that we see in the hand knitting community and knitwear that we see on the catwalk. So what are big fashion brands showing us in terms of knitwear for the autumn winter season of 2020-2021? And yeah, how does that kind of compare to what stuff that we see all the time on Instagram and Ravelry in the hand knitting community? So I thought that was an interesting thing to sort of discuss. Let's first kind of do a little check back into the hand knitting community. If we go to Ravelry and check patterns, what are the kind of things that we see there? So I'm just going to go to Ravelry, do advanced search, and there is hot right now. I have it set to knitting. So let's do sweaters, because I think that is clothing. And sweater, all sweater, and okay. So this is hot right now, and I don't think this is even showing like the top Instagram sort of things that are coming out right now, but so of course we immediately see here in the middle of the page, it's the Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry. This sweater is actually, this pattern came out in November 2017, but it's still super popular. It's a simple knit sweater, but it looks really nice. And people love to knit that. The next to it we have the Love Note sweater by Tinker Knit which sort of combines lace knitting with holding fingering weight and a mohair strand together. So that is a super popular pattern. It's also cropped, and therefore I guess it's quickly finished. You don't have to do full sleeves. Some other stuff I see here, it's the new pattern by Caitlin Hunter, Jupiter Crop, which is very cropped sweater. We have the Telleric by Audrey Borrego. Petite knit is always super popular. This is the No Frill sweater, which came out in November 2016, a long time ago, but it's still super popular in the knitting community. Flax sweater is still super popular. This came out in 2013, but it's a free pattern, and also it's a really good first sweater pattern. So I guess the reason that it's always very popular, but I'm assuming it's quite popular at the moment because of all the lockdowns globally and people sort of getting back into knitting and trying their first sweater. This is another Andrea Mowry sweater that came out this year. It's the Throw Over sweater. It has sort of hand spun yarns in it. Really like this one from Joji Locatelli, which came out in May this year. It is the Monstera cardigan. So these are kind of things that are popular in the knitting community right now. And with Instagram and Ravelry having the Hot Right Now page, a lot of people sort of keep knitting the same things or knit same things as other people in the hand knitting community. Think of that what you will. I don't think that's a discussion for right now, but that is a fact, and that is a thing that is happening. So also hand knitting, because it obviously takes way more time to knit a sweater. I think the changes in the hand knitting community in patterns is way more gradual and slow than in fashion, in sort of like catwalk fashion. I don't really professional catwalk fashion. Also, don't be like fooled that I know anything about fashion. I don't. I wear usually about the same stuff I do every day because it's easier and it doesn't take up as much brain space. But I am interested in that sort of disconnect between hand knitting community and fashion knitwear community. Now, I've picked some photos from Pinterest because that's where I go when I need to look up these types of things. And I thought it was funny. The first one that I saw was this cardigan over a dress. And they are both in brioche. And it's very sort of bold, graphic, especially the cardigan, like yellow and black. It's a very bold color choice, I would say. This is by Marco da Vincenzo, I think. Again, I'm not a fashion expert, but yeah. Is this recording actually? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I quite like this style of brioche cardigan. I don't think I would ever knit something like this myself. Brioche is super fun, but it takes quite a lot of time because you're essentially doing double knitting. And something like long like this, I feel would take absolutely forever. I'm also noticing like the long sleeves, and the cardigan is quite long. It almost reaches this lady's knee. So yeah, I think if something like this would enter the hand knitting community, it would definitely be shortened and made in a way that is much more quicker to knit. Also, like draping a hand knit brioche cardigan over a hand knit brioche dress. This lady must be boiling walking down the catwalk, but sure. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is from Longchamp. I don't know how to pronounce that. And this actually, like from all of them, this one looks, I feel, like it's like a bog standard H&M dress. I don't see anything very exciting here. It has black, some teal, blue, light blue, greeny color, cream, and a yellow. So to me, like that part kind of looks like an egg, and I probably would never wear anything like that because I would just feel like I was walking around as if I was a dinner plate. I do like the turtleneck. I never wear turtlenecks, and I've never been a fan of them, but I recently saw a pattern by it's those two ladies in Montreal, and I forgot their names. It doesn't matter. They had a pattern, a knitting pattern with a sweater that had a turtleneck, and I was like, oh, maybe I do like turtlenecks. So suddenly I'm in turtleneck mode. She's put a belt over this sweater, which I probably would never do if it's like natural fibers, because I would just be worried about pilling. And it has quite long sleeves. Yeah. It's quite oversized, but then it's cinched here in the middle with the belt. So I feel like it would be a lot of knitting for what is essentially a picture of an egg. Okay, next one. This is, it doesn't say, but it is apparently trend inspiration for fall winter 2021. This is a ribbed pink sweater, and I have seen this color, dusty kind of pinkish color, a lot searching for images, so I think this is definitely a trend color. It is extremely oversized, like these sleeves are over her hands, and yeah, it's obviously on purpose because it seems like her shoulders are sort of fine and the neckline is not massively wide or anything, so that looks fine. It's just that sleeves are massive. Next one is, I like this one. So this is a Fendi sweater, and it's some sort of ribbing pattern going on. It is a very, very oversized collar or turtleneck situation going on. Sleeves are fascinating. They are kind of cinched at the top and cinched at the wrist, but they are quite balloony, and I would never wear anything like this because on me it would probably look like I was the Stay Puffed marshmallow dude, but I don't know why, but this fascinates me endlessly. The boots in the same color as the sweater, and the hands and the gloves in the same color as the sweater, and then the weird army green stiff skirt. I don't know, it just looks very futuristic, and I don't know, it fascinates me. Next one is Agnona, and yeah, this is a very common popular color, I would say, even in the hand knit community. It's that kind of burnt brownish orangey burnt caramel color, and this is like a normal cabled sweater, enormous sleeves again, and obviously this is knit as a dress, so it kind of looks like a sleeping bag. It does look rather comfortable, I have to say. And then she has a shawl or a scarf, I can't really tell from here, that is essentially the same fabric. I think this is fun, but again, for hand knitting, this would just be too much work for something you would probably not wear a whole lot. So don't recommend. So this is another one from Fendi, and it's kind of like a almost mint green yellow fluffy cardigan with, again, these like enormous sleeves, and these are again kind of puffy and cinched at the wrist and cinched at the top. It almost feels like this was a normal cardigan, and then right after somebody started on the sleeves, like 2 inches after they started knitting the sleeves, they were like, wait, these sleeves need to be bigger, a lot bigger. And they just made these massive sleeves. So yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. We're just going into Sleeve City. Next one is a Michael Kors for the winter season. So this to me looks like 2 sweaters on top of each other, or is she wearing a second sweater as like a shawl? I have no idea what's going on here. It is a regular, the patterning looks like a regular sort of fisherman's sweater with cables, but the shaping is weird. The arms are enormous, and then there's something weird happening around the neck area. It does feel like it's 2 sweaters on top of each other. I don't think this is gonna catch on. Next one is also from Michael Kors. This one seems as if it's a sweater with 4 arms, and to sort of hide this knitting mistake, the arms have been crossed over at the front to look like a shawl or a scarf or something. Again, enormous sleeves, really long, and this is a dress. And it kind of looks like a normal sweater up until right below her hips, and then there's like this extra piece of fabric added sort of sideways to make it a dress. Yes, very interesting. This is a J.W. Anderson. I really like this. This is it's a dress, but it's a V-neck, and there's some sort of capelet coming out of the V in a different color, a contrasting color to what the rest of the dress is. It has normal sleeves. What are you on, J.W. Anderson? Did you not get the memo? But yeah, this is really interesting. It looks like a superhero lady knitted thing. I find this interesting. I wonder if we're going to get any like sweaters with built-in capelets sprouting from the V-neck in the hand knitting community. I don't think so, but it would be interesting to see. Next up is Dolce and Gabbana. I have no idea what is going on here. Is this even knitting or is this crochet? I think it is knitting. I think at least the cuffs and the hem and the V-neck collar or border are knitted. I don't know about the rest of the fabric. I don't know. This looks like something that's in your shower, like a scrubby. I don't think I'd wear that. Okay, next one. Oh yeah, so this is from Chloe, and it's a very interesting cabled sweater where the cables are white and the backdrop for the cables is pink. I really like that. I'm not sure how you would really get that effect. You would have to use some form of intarsia, I think, and it would probably be super annoying to do that hand knit. But if somebody who is like older in knit years and wiser and tells me in the comments right now that there is actually a super easy trick to do this, then I would totally believe that. So I like the colors. I like the cables. I'm not super fan of the blouse part sticking out, but at least they're normal size sleeves, so there is that. Next one is, this is Regina Pio, and it actually looks like a normal sweater in a brown color. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like this could be something that could be a pattern from like a hand knit pattern. This is Ralph and Rousseau, and it's that dusty pink again that we've seen a couple of times, and lots of cables, lots of texture, a very long, sleeves are quite long, but not as long as we've seen in other items. There is that sort of cinching at the waist with a belt again that I don't think many knitters would put like a leather belt around their precious hand knit sweaters, because if you do something like that, it would rub against the fabric, and it would be like the quickest way to get pilling, massive pilling on one spot. And if you do decide to do something like this, you kind of have to commit to it, because if you have peeling in that one area, you're kind of stuck with the belt. You can't really get out of it. So I think it would be something that knitters wouldn't really enjoy doing, or not. I don't think it would be something that knitters would choose to do. So this is from Fendi. This is some kind of animal print fluffiness, and then massive sleeves again, massive sleeves. I feel like that's the trend basically for upcoming winter. Endless sleeves. So this is actually from menswear, and I really, really like this. This is I don't know how to pronounce that, rochas, I don't know, sweater, and it's just a regular knit pink sweater, or blush pink, but it has embroidered detailing over the top, and I think it looks really, really nice. I'm not looking at the shawl or the scarf, sorry, but I really like that embroidered stuff over the top. I think this would be something that most knitting pattern designers would not make, because I think they would be getting so many questions by people who would need help with the embroidery part of the pattern, that it would eat so much of their time that it's probably not worth doing. But if you are interested in embroidery, this is obviously something that you can do. Like, you can get a knitted sweater and embroider over it. And I think a lot of people do that. They use scrap yarn to embroider over their knitted sweaters. So I think it's an interesting thought. This is Prabal Gurung. Sure. This looks very Scandinavian, Icelandic. It does have that kind of yoke thing going at the top, which is just copied again. It's exactly the same stuff that's happening at the top, happening at the bottom. It's very fluffy fabric. It could be something that is held with mohair, something similar. Who knows? But yeah, I think it looks nice. A normal sweater. Okay, last one. Altuzara. I'm so terrible. I apologize. Yeah, this looks... I think the shoes out of this whole thing are probably the most offensive ones. They're probably the most offensive. The skirt just looks like a normal ribbed skirt, and the sweater, I mean, it does have a lot of see-through action going at the top. There's some fringe at the sides. I think there is a lot of twisted rib in this, which would make it something that is, if you were to hand knit this item, I think it would cost a lot of time. But yeah. Otherwise, if I saw this in a store and it wouldn't be very expensive, I might pick it up because I quite like it and I like the color. And this is, a color that would suit me. But I don't think it's very special, and I would probably not hand knit something like this. Okay, so that is that for this episode, kind of looking at the differences between knitting patterns in the hand knitting community, what is popular there, and sort of upcoming stuff for the autumn winter collections that fashion companies are producing for 2021. Yeah, I think some of them, I don't know. So they're all very out there and kind of crazy. And also I think that's the whole point of these like fashion events and fashion sort of catwalk stuff. It's very, very out there. And then companies that produce items for the high street kind of look at this and take inspiration from it and take details from it. And then, use that as as a kind of like a guiding principle for making items for the high street. And I think that I feel like pattern designers on like Ravelry, like independent knitting pattern designers, are more inspired by their own sort of like experience and sort of feeling and emotions, and what they are sort of what they're inspired to knit and what they feel like knitting at that time. But also, you know, they are often inspired by the yarns that they have in stash, or maybe they are sent some yarns to work with by a company, or you know, they have like an array of knitting patterns and they see that a certain one is doing very well, so they might make something that is a variation of that type of pattern. I think you can see that a lot. So I feel like the sort of creation of a knitting pattern from an indie designer is obviously so different towards the creation of a knitwear item by one of these companies. Okay, thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for sort of like a different type of episode. I'll be back again with a regular podcasting episode where I will show my normal hand knitting items as per usual. I just wanted to do something different today. Let me know what you think, what kind of stuff you would like to be knitting in the future, if you look at things in the high street, or if you are just inspired by knitting patterns that are shown on like Ravelry and Instagram and by other hand knitters. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.